Good morning. Today is day 5 of Diddy's trial. Cassie is back on the stand, and this was a photo of her leaving her New York apartment, and she seems to be in good spirits. Obviously, we know she's very pregnant. She's at about 8.5 months, and the judge made it very clear she needs to be done today. Earlier this morning, the judge let the defense team know that the prosecutors are allowing them until 4:30 p.m. to do their cross-examination. The judge said the prosecutors were fine having only 30 minutes and starting at 4:30 to redirect once the defense team was done with Cassie. So what that likely means is that we won't be hearing from Dawn until Monday. The prosecutors did file a letter to the court earlier this morning because they feel like Diddy's team is purposely trying to go for a mistrial. They believe that Diddy's attorneys were trying to push Cassie's cross-examination into next week, and if she does go into labor, the judge will be forced to call a mistrial. They even say that they believe yesterday Diddy's attorney was slow-walking Cassie's cross-examination. They accused Diddy's attorneys for purposely making Cassie read through so many text messages before asking her questions and retreading topics over and over again. Obviously, Diddy's team tried it, but the judge is not having any of it. He made it clear this needs to be done today. I did get a lot of people asking if I was in the courtroom, which I am not. I have so many tabs open from Inner City Press on Twitter, who is live tweeting, but I also have CNN, New York Post, the New York Times, NBC, Washington Post. I have so many because everybody is saying something different or adding more context, and then I put everything into a notepad and I summarize. Anyway, Cassie is on the stand, and I will be back once they're on break.
Yeah, so pretty much she's just like aggregating the information appropriately, right? Kind of like the same thing we do over here, guys. That is absolutely insane, though, that, you know, their trial, you know, the lawyers are trying to like make sure and manipulate how she's gonna be going into labor. Sorry for the camera shake, it's like set up on my desk in a weird way, but it's trying to like make sure that she can take as much time as possible when reading the text and doing all that nonsense to see maybe she might go into labor. You know, maybe this is the time, and then we can just call this whole thing off, right? As long as she can't testify or she can't do anything, we can just call it off, right? It's fine. Let's go to the comments. Thank goodness they got an aware and present judge. This case needs someone to guide it carefully, diligently, and assertively. That's the thing too. You've seen this multiple times, especially with these like celebrity cases, how the judges can get remixed over and over and over again because, you know, the judge is one that decides the crucial stuff, especially like even with the Young Thug trial, the judges had to keep getting mixed over, switched out, you know, until they got the right judge that was standing up for what is right and make sure that the defense is doing the right job, make sure the prosecutor is doing the right job. And it all falls down to the judge. So if the judge isn't competent, the whole case is just skewed. I'm glad the judge set a limit for Cassie. She's a victim, pregnant, and under a huge amount of stress. I hope she's okay and at peace. I would hate to think he is taking anything else from her. Diddy's defense team are just as shady as him. Hey, they're going out with all the tactics as they possibly can, you know, just to get the win, obviously. I mean, they're doing it. They're getting paid very well. Like, so you know that they're gonna, if they come out with a loss, it's gonna be a problem. And, you know, I don't know, you know, there's some other things, other extenuating circumstances, if you know what I mean. That could be a factor. Good, bless that judge. I don't understand how Cassie going into labor will cause a mistrial. Can someone explain? She's the main person besides Diddy, so her not being available would cause a mistrial. She's not a main person. She's just one of the subpoena they have. Yeah, the Cassie versus Diddy one was settled ages ago. This is U.S. versus federal case. Wait, Dawn from Danity Kane? She's testifying? You're the only one I'm watching. Facts and straight to the point. Clear understanding. Love it. Awesome. Next video.
So I was in the courtroom where this trial is taking place, and I was sitting right behind Cassie Ventura's husband, and I watched him as he sort of glared at Sean Combs at times, at the family, especially during the period of time where the prosecution showed photos, 13 men, different races, predominantly black men. These are all men that Cassie was able to identify in terms of names sometimes and where these freak-offs, these alleged freak-offs took place from cities like LA, Miami, New York, Las Vegas, etc. I can only imagine how painful it must be to sit there and listen to that testimony regarding your wife and the number of people that she says she had sex with because of these freak-offs. Something else worth noting is that Ventura continues to say this was all about what Sean Combs wanted. So today she mentioned that she said she primarily reached out to the escorts, but says that was her job and Combs expected her to do so. We'll of course have more with the testimony that's still happening right now inside federal court.
And that's the crazy thing, guys, because people are gonna be like, well, why was she doing that? She's the one sitting there going outside, coordinating all this stuff. She's allegedly doing drugs, for the court case, and not being fed by Diddy to do that type of stuff, not being fed to be putting all that poison in her body. That was doing it herself. And be like, well, why can't she get away? Why can't she get away from that? And that's just because of that abuse cycle that happens. She's still trapped within that situation. There is no escape from that. It takes a lot of mental fortitude and just time to get away from those type of situations. Throw it down in the comments if you have something that people can relate to, and that maybe we can get across to the people that don't fully understand like why she couldn't just get away. If she's the one coordinating everything, let's go to the comments. I don't like the way this reporter worded that at all. It was biased, leading, assumptive, and funky as hell, the way she worded it. Expect nothing less from the network she is employed by. The previous anchor was really bad. The two new ones are too. I had to quit watching that network. Bring back Walter Cronkite. May sound insensitive, but she's probably trying to speak based off just straight facts. That's all she's trying to do. On what she witnessed in court and not her own words, to prevent a possible lawsuit with her words being twisted in like a high profile case. Just my assumption though. I mean, you're probably not wrong, but I don't know. She could have just not mentioned the glaring at all and still got the info out. Valid. Every woman in these comments is questioning why she didn't leave or why not hold a grown woman accountable are despicable. That's exactly what I was just talking about. She was 19, like 19 to 22, guys. When she met him, ask yourself how strong and bold you felt at 19 to stand up to a powerful grown man. Nah, we get it why she didn't leave later into it. We know why she engaged in the beginning, her career ambitions. It's all very sad. And what do you guys think? Throw it down in the comments. Like they're adults, right? If you're 18, you're an adult. Do you take accountability for like, yeah, I know what the trials and tribulations are trying to be in this type of career, trying to be an entertainer and being very young, like what you gotta get put through. I mean, we've seen this stuff with like Justin Bieber as well. When he was over at Diddy's house, all the other like major entertainers, who's dropping off? Oh, Usher dropped off Justin Bieber at Diddy's house, right? This absolute crazy stuff. And then where's Cassie's parent? Like, were the parents like advising her, like, hey, like try to not stay around these strange people, strange entertainers, that are trying to put you in these situations? Did she like relay that? With Justin Bieber, he was like an actual minor, like 14 or 15, right? So that's the crazy thing. Like, where are the parents at to be like, hey, like, okay, well, maybe this is my avenue to get into this type of celebrity, to like get in this is how I get my big break, all that stuff. Like, throw it down in the comments what you think. Next video.
Music video, and this is how Cassandra Ventura, also known as Cassie, her testimony ended like this. She described going to rehab in February of 2023. She says, I didn't want to be alive. She described shooting a music video and saying that she had flashbacks to some of the things that she went through. She then started to cry and said, I remember coming home, looking at my two children and my husband and telling my husband, you can do this without me. She said, I tried to walk into traffic, but he stopped me. From then on, she talks about going to rehab and started to write everything that happened to her. She said she wrote a book and she wanted Sean Combs to read it, to have information, she said. I wanted him to understand what he put me through. I was 22, I would have done anything for him. I did, but it wasn't enough. I reached out to his chief of staff. She said the book was not being taken seriously. I wanted to be compensated, she said in court, for the time, the years, the pain, trying to fix my life. $30 million for the rights is what she proposed. When the prosecution asked her why that number, she said, I didn't really do any research. I just picked a number and I thought it would alert him. As many of you guys already know, November 2023, she filed a civil lawsuit. It was settled. She acknowledged that today, but for the first time we heard how much the settlement was for. $20 million, she said. When the prosecutors asked her, why are you testifying at this trial? She said, quote, I cannot carry this anymore. The shame, the guilt. What's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. Ventura takes the stand tomorrow for cross-examination. The defense will now have an opportunity to question her.
Yeah, she threw up the $30 million because she's like, well, that's how much I feel like, maybe $1 million for each of the years I felt like I got freaking perpetrated. $10 million per year because it was like 19 to 22, if I'm correct. Let's go down to the comments. She had a contract for 10 albums. He promised her a career, but used it to lure her into a very sick and twisted world. He stole her career and her innocence. So then at that point, she's like, how much is your career? What's your career worth? But $30 million is quite a bit. I mean, to everybody that's, middle income or upper middle class, that's an insane amount of money. But to people like, Drake at the top, Kendrick Lamar, prominent artists, SZA, like maybe they can make that in a career when they're at their peak, like during a tour. tour, you know, $30 million for like a world tour type of deal. Tell me in the comments down below if you think the 30 million was worth it. I mean, she still got out of the NDA and was able to testify anyways. That was the whole point of the $30 million. So either way, she still got to testify and got to keep the money because the feds were like, we don't care about the NDA that you guys signed. That's neither here or there at this point, right? Her husband is her guardian angel. Yeah, she started a whole new family. Good on him for taking her in, even though I know there's like a lot of trauma that they have to work through, right? He should have paid her 200 million, not 20 million. Still wouldn't be enough. And they'll get the, because there was like, this is what I'm slightly confused about. Throw it in the comments. There was 20 million and there was the $30 million. I know the 30 million was for the NDA. I think this 20 million was for like the book or something. No money will ever be enough for what he put her through. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's a lot of people will say they'll do like, how much would you take for such and such action? It's just like, ugh. Sometimes like there's just morals, hard morals that people will stand by that no amount of money will sway somebody, right? Publish that book. No amount of money can make years of trauma go away. Yeah, just what we were saying. All his stress during her pregnancy is not good for her. Yeah, the stress might cause like an early pregnancy, right? She should have said $300 million. Yeah, I don't think he would have approved that. She deserves $30 more million, $50 million. Diddy owes her billions, but even that won't mend her trauma. Put it down in the comments. Is trauma an unlimited amount? It's gonna be based off of that person's, you know, net worth, right? And that person's income on how much it's the perpetrator of the trauma. But what do you guys think? How much does she really deserve? Next video.
Court did break for a very specific reason. They are about to play the freak off videos. Cassie was sitting front row. Diddy's sons are in the courtroom this morning. His daughter's nowhere in sight. He even whispered to his mom, I love you. Baby, the tension is thick. Before the break, the judge gave the green light for the jury to see the actual video evidence at the center of this whole case. Y'all remember Daniel Phillip, the male escort? He said some of the encounters lasted up to 10 hours. And sometimes Cassie would go back into the room with Diddy, and then they'd call him back in again. The jury just walked back in. The screens are up and the videos are queued. Do you think Diddy's sons know what's about to be shown in this courtroom, or are they about to find out with the rest of us? Drop your theories in the comments.
Yeah, that's pretty hardcore. You gotta watch your dad freaking, you know, do the actual freak offs and stuff, the Wild Kings parties or whatever the hell they call them. Yeah, I don't know. Throw it down in the comments. Like, what? You have to watch your dad like they're in the courtroom doing the video. I don't know. The way I'd pay to be a jury, you'd pay to watch that? 93,000 people like that. That's insane. The jury's going to need therapy after this. I love the whispering because, girl, I'm at work and I'm nosy. Now why can't I get called for this type of jury duty? Everybody wants to watch it. They just release those tapes. You might make millions off of that, right? I'd say his sons were aware of what went on. The sons the sons. I thought I heard about this, but I didn't want to, like, allegedly, right? Allegedly, the sons participated. All the sick things Diddy did, you think he hid it from his sons? Yeah. How old are his sons? Put it down in the comments. Are they grown? They're over 18, right? What makes you think his sons didn't have their own FOs with Cassie? Cassie was for everyone. Something isn't right with her mentally. She stayed for the money and couldn't get out. She wanted her singing career for sure, and you know he dangled that in her face numerous times. She was 19, yeah, when she was trapped, yeah. Married to him legally. Diddy's the one who shouldn't be allowed to watch. He's probably enjoying the flashback. Yeah, no shit. He pays for that. Per the court documents, his actions, he is into voyeurism. Yeah, so yeah, exactly. This is his whole freaking thing. I don't think he should be in the courtroom at all either. Throw it down in the comments. I don't think he should be in the courtroom to watch this. That's nonsense. This is what he does. This is what he paid for. Next video.
Oh, the way that Cassie was looking on that thing yesterday, first of all, they're talking to her about the drug use. And the day before, remember I told you guys, they were asking her about the drug use and asking her how she would resupply on drugs. Like, who gave her the drug dealer's contacts and stuff like that. And she said, Diddy. And when she said that, I watched Diddy in court look at her like, girl, what? Yesterday on the stand, they said, okay, so let's talk about your drug use, right? Because is it or is it not true that, you know, both of you guys were using drugs, but like Diddy was still able to run multiple businesses and like ran down a list of everything he was doing. He was more functioning. And she was like, yeah, I mean, you could say that. And then they go into having a conversation about the fact that at one point in time, Puff was calling drug dealers and telling them to stop serving Cassie because she was so bad off. Like, she was worse off on drugs than he was. And Cassie admitted that was happening. The day before that, though, they painted it as if she was like lost in this whole like drug abuse thing that was caused and spiraled out by Puff. Yesterday, the conversation was, no, you were making choices on your own, to the point where he was even having to intervene with some of her friends because he didn't like how much drugs she was doing. He was trying to like protect the way that they were doing. Like, they were doing their things,
right?
But he was trying to make sure that it was, from what they're alleging, that it was a lot more safe. And she didn't push back on it.
I thought they were saying, I thought Diddy's team was saying that Diddy was also on drugs really bad, and they were trying to say that's why he didn't remember putting hands on her.
But they even said he OD'd.
He OD'd, yes. So look, they never, and this is why I'm saying the prosecution left their star witness out there looking crazy, because Diddy's team has never ran from any of that. They have talked about his drug use. Yesterday, it did come up in court that he overdosed at this around the time that Whitney Houston passed away, right?
Was he rushed to the hospital when he overdosed?
Yeah, they said they took him to the hospital. It was like a whole thing. They didn't go into a lot of detail about it, and I have been trying to get more information on that, because for a lot of us in the courtroom, we were like, wait, what? How did this happen? How did he overdose? And the world never knew. But that's how bad their drug use was. But he was always able to like keep himself together and not like fall off, and able to like try and like go through like withdrawals and stuff to get off of it. She was having a bit of a harder time from what it seemed like, to the point where he was encouraging her to go to rehab, and she admitted she did go to like a wellness spa and things of that nature. But I think the reason why
I think this is like, I just had to stop it here because I think this is where people are missing, is when people are trying to get out of that trauma trap. It doesn't seem like a trap at the time, because then here you have Diddy being like, hey, well, I'm thinking about you. You know, I want you to be taken care of and everything, you know, not health wise, right? So I don't want you to be hurt. I care about you. So stop taking the drugs. You know, maybe you should go to rehab. Maybe you should start taking these steps in order to make yourself healthier, because I care about you. And then you have it on the flip side of where she's like, no, I'm trapped. You know, you're treating me bad. You know, you're hitting me, you're abusing me. There's all this DV claims, and the DV that's being proven, obviously on video as well. But then that's where the people aren't seeing it, is the loving side of the trap, as well as being hurt at the same time. That's why it's like, oh, well, he loves me. You know what I'm saying? That obviously he's not, but I'm trying to get away because I'm being hurt all the time. I'm being hurt. But then this is the pullback. I'm just saying that this is part of that pullback. When they have the little traits of, hey, I extremely love you and I want you to be taken care of. Those are the little traits of pullback. Obviously, if it was just all hurt all the time, then there'd be no influence to stay. Then it'd be an easiest switch to be like, oh yeah, well, I'm always being hurt. I hate my life, so I'm just leaving. But when there's little increments of, no, I love you. Like, hey, take care of yourself. What are you doing? Don't do this. You know, I want you to be healthy. I want you to live a long time with me. I want all your bills to be paid for. I want everything to be taken care of. You know? God.
The reason why I brought that up is because Puff's team did try and use that as a defense, right? And she tried to do that as well. But the way that everything is coming out now, is really seeming like, okay, what we saw happen to her in that video, and the other things that I know happened to her because we've seen photos of the bruises and things like that, right, is not okay. But the way that they were able to almost humanize, like, okay, he had a lot of drugs in him too. If we're going to give her a pass for, you know, being drugged up and, you know, not being able to make her own decisions, we should have that conversation about him too, is what they were able to accomplish yesterday.
Up a lot.
Yeah, and they used her to do it.
This is what I was telling you, Lauren. You got 8 weeks. You're going to go crazy, because every day when the prosecution is on, the prosecution is going to say things that make sense. When the defense is on, the defense team is going to make things that make sense. You're going to be playing hopscotch like, oh my.
Charlotte, look at this.
You got 8 weeks.
I am like, I'm like, if I was a juror, I would be so stressed out.
You should really do a book and documentary after this, because you're there every day. Next question I was going to ask, could Cassie be charged? Will they charge Cassie? Because from what you're telling us, it was like
baby girl was the number 2.
No, she was number 2, and she was setting
up. I told y'all that yesterday. Yesterday I said she was G Money and Diddy's Nino Brown.
The freak offs, and she allegedly supplied some of the drugs. That's what it seems like they're saying. So could she be charged as well?
I had asked some questions about that yesterday to a source who told me that they had heard that there were some conversations about immunity, which would only make sense. But they can't 100% confirm it. But I'll have that by Monday.
Yeah. So if the feds are sitting there subpoenaing her to, you know, be a key witness, then there should be immunity on the table either way, because otherwise, why would she have to implicate herself? You know what I'm saying? Let's go to the comments. Because he got her hooked, so of course she spiraled. Yeah, but then that doesn't absorb the being the number 2 and then facilitating everything, because she was outside of it not directly with Diddy too. From all the stuff that all the sources that everybody's saying, you know, she was there doing the thing, doing, you know, coordinating the works, coordinating the drugs and all that stuff. Per the court documents, she's on Diddy's side. She got to go. Oh wow. So he's saying just Cassie has to go by stating facts. She's stating facts about both of them. Yeah, she's literally just saying what happened. She's giving a summary of court. That's all. The courtroom facts got y'all hating Lauren. Sounds like he created the problem, then tried to be the savior. Yep. Typically when you get someone hooked, they spiral and continue to be dependent on it. So now, does that, throw it down in the comments, guys. Since Diddy got her hooked in the first place, does all of Cassie's actions in terms of just the drug, is she completely absolved of that on the latter side of it, right? Since Diddy was why she is on drugs in the first place, right? It's hard to place that fault, because did she ask for the drugs, or did he force her? You know, we've heard all these alleged stories of, since we're not in the courtroom and there's not directly on documents, of Diddy putting stuff in other people's drinks, right? You know, like slowly luring them in onto drugs when they don't even know it themselves. You know, lacing their drinks and stuff with stuff. So who introduced her to drugs in the first place? She traded her dignity for fortune and fame. Nobody forced her to do anything. He shouldn't get life for her regrets. And this is going to be the hard part of when the jury has to decide on. Next video.
Linens because
Dookie on the sheets.
So what she said was she was actually made to have freak offs during her period, and so there would be blood on a lot of the sheets. And she said she didn't want to do that, but she was being made to do that allegedly. And she also alleged that there'd be urine on the sheets, and we've heard testimony about the urine and why those things happened allegedly. And baby oil, she said that they would oil up so much. That was like a big thing for Puff allegedly. Like you had to be oiled. That every 5 minutes they were like just re-oiling because
he wants you to look like a shiny suit.
Yeah, because it glistens, and I guess it's the sexiness of baby oil on it.
He wants you to glisten like them shiny suits he used to wear in the 90s.
This is so sad.
Yo, what the hell is up with Charlamagne? Oh my God. He really likes that shiny suit analogy.
I guess so. And then when we were talking about the urine, you know, she talked about that in one of the free calls, because they'd asked her, you know, we opened up our testimony or our opening statement, the prosecutors talking about, you know, you alleging that there was a male escort that was made to pee, or I'm sorry, that was made to urinate on you.
You can say pee. Same thing.
Urinate on you. Can you detail that? So she starts to detail that, and she says that at one point she was choking, obvious reasons. And they asked, well, why didn't you just ask them to stop? And when I say them, she updated us and let us know.
Who's the attorney, Riley Freeman? He says, why wouldn't you just move out the way? That's what he asked for.
Basically, they just asked.
You guys didn't know that reference, by the way. That was R. Kelly, Riley Freeman. The case where, you know, R. Kelly was doing that, you know, stuff with the minors.
You know, at this, because it didn't sound like she was being held against her will at that point, like physically. So they're like, well, why would you just? Because she said she laid down with her hands up a lot of times when that was happening, because she didn't like it and it was a lot going on. And she said that not only would the escorts do it, allegedly Puff would join in as well. And she said when it would get to a point where it was too much for her, sometimes he would tell the escorts, Puff would tell the escorts allegedly, like, yo, all right, let's stop, let's chill. So they asked her, like, why wouldn't you just tell them to stop yourself? And she said, I mean, I'm laying on the floor, and allegedly intoxicated by all these things, and it's two men standing over me. What am I going to do?
Yeah, valid. I feel like at that point she's definitely trapped. Throw it on the comments. Let's hit these comments. I can't stand Charlamagne. He thinks everything is a joke. Yeah, I don't know what the hell he was talking about. The men are joking. The women look concerned. Why do they keep cracking jokes? Damn, everybody's getting on for the jokes. This is making R. Kelly look like a saint. From this standpoint, well, I don't know. R. Kelly actually had minors, though. Like, these are all actual adults and paid escorts. So professionals and adults. R. Kelly had minors. I don't know which ones. I think the minors is worse. I don't know. The minors is definitely worse. Like, Charlamagne talks too much. Can she talk without interruption? The fact that people are not taking this serious is insane. I think people are taking it serious. Like, there's nobody not taking it serious. I think just what happens when there's so much trauma that, like, you can take it serious to a point, but like it's just so negative and so bad and so overwhelming that it seems like it's fake. It seems like it can't be true. Like this can't be happening because it's so serious, because it's so vindictive, you know? And I think people have to put a spin on it so that they can absorb the information appropriately and not just be depressed by the information. I think that's what happened. You have to put that spin for just normal everyday people that aren't used to these type of situations and these type of, you know, crimes and this type of DVs type stuff. to actually absorb it appropriately and not just spaz out with the information. People making jokes, but this is no laughing matter. This woman was brutally traumatized in a manner no man would wish on his daughter or mom. And that's why I was making that point before. It was like, hey, where are the parents? Like, did she ever mention this to the parents? Like, hey, can you get me out of this situation? This isn't worth the fame. This isn't worth the money. This isn't worth, the stain on me as a person, the trauma. This isn't worth that. So can you come please get me? Come get me, please, right? Cassie was 22. She just wanted a career and a boyfriend, not this hell. She was 19 from what I heard in the courtroom. It was from 19 to 22, right? From what I read, she was 19 and he was 38 when they met, and they officially got together when she was 21. Exactly, he was grooming her. Yep, so she didn't have choices. Oh, he's like, so she didn't have choices? She's an adult? Oh, I guess not letting him. This is no joking matter. And people clearly don't understand how domestic violence works. All right, guys, so that's it. Let me know in the comments what you think. I know there's a lot I asked for you guys, but hey, I just want to have a conversation, see what you know. If you know definitely more than me, throw it down there. I'm always willing to learn. And if you like this kind of content, go ahead and hit the button and subscribe if you want to see more. I've been Blahzaye, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.